breaks the dawn, comes the Easter sun, over lake and lawn, sets its course to run. Birds above us fly, flowers bloom below, through the earth and sky, life's great mercies flow. As the spinning globe rolls away the night, nature wears a robe spun of morning light. Dawn break in me too, as in skies above. Teach me to be true, fill my heart with love.
Welcome to this online service of Neshoba Unitarian Universalist Church. I am the Reverend Beth Lefever, pleased and privileged to serve as the minister of this congregation, and I am so very glad that you have joined with us this morning. Our opening words are by Joyce Poley from the hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. Let us be in worship together in the holy place of this gathering. And now Cindy Murray will light our chalice.
Hello. Today's chalice comes from the International Council of Unitarians and Universalists Global Chalice Lighting. Welcome hearts, come hearts that are open and hearts that are closed by trials and sorrows, loss and misgivings. Come seekers searching for answers, for respite or a space to unleash their joy. Here, all are welcome. No excuses are needed, nor explanations. Bring your whole heart and let it be touched as we light our chalice, the symbol of our faith. This moment belongs to each of us. Now please join me as we say our affirmation of covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
Today's story for all ages is a special Halloween treat called Halloween Hustle by Charlotte Gunnufson and illustrated by Kevin J. Atbury. In the dark, a funky beat, something white with bony feet, skeleton dancing up the street, doing the Halloween hustle. Bony thumbs and fingers snap, bony heels and toes tip-tap, knees knock-knock and elbows flap, doing the Halloween hustle. Skeleton twists his skinny hips, shakes his shoulders, skates and skips. On a crooked crack he trips. Bones scatter, what a clatter! Spine is like a broken ladder. He sticks his bones back into place, adds rubber bands just in case, gets up and grooves with ghoulish grace, doing the Halloween hustle. He swings around the bus stop sign, once, twice, then gets in a line, right behind Frankenstein, doing the Halloween hustle. Climbs on the bus, can't find a seat. That's okay, he finds the beat. Shuffles and scuttles those bony feet, doing the Halloween hustle. The big bus zigzags through the town, zooms up hills, then cruises down. Every monster for miles around is doing the Halloween hustle. The bus slows down and then it stops. Skeleton leaves with 3 high hops, leads the others to the shops, doing the Halloween hustle. Skeleton buys a snazzy hat, a jazzy jacket to go with that, but in his path, a big black cat. Bones scatter, what a clatter, spine is like a broken ladder. Skeleton doesn't groan or whine, binds his bones with tape and twine. He bounces up and feeling fine, doing the Halloween hustle. In the fancy clothes, the monsters go to a party in a row, a funky, freaky fashion show, doing the Halloween hustle. The ghostly hosts greet each guest. How do you do? You're so well dressed. Just in time for the dance contest, doing the Halloween hustle. Monsters move on through the door, jump and jive out on the floor. Spooky judges hold up scores for doing the Halloween hustle. Skeleton shinnies, swings and sways, bebops as the music plays, but Zombie's foot gets in the way. Bones scatter, what a clatter, spine is like a broken ladder. A skeleton girl with a friendly smile sweeps the bones up in a pile. Skeleton, hey, in just a while, you'll do the Halloween hustle. She uses a bottle of super strong glue. You're fixed forever. You're just like new. Hey, I'd like to dance with you. Let's do the Halloween hustle. All the monsters cheer and clap, bony thumbs and fingers snap, bony heels and toes tip-tap, doing the Halloween hustle. Happy Halloween!
Ours is a church that strives to welcome and celebrate diversity, grow community, nurture spirituality, and promote justice. We are a people who strive to bring those worthy goals to vibrant and vital life. Please help us with the gift of this morning's offering. We are grateful. My first reading this morning is by Louis Regenstein, president of the Interfaith Council for the Protection of Animals and Nature, an affiliate of the Humane Society of the United States. He writes, "Many Christians see deep significance in the story of Jesus beginning his life among the animals, as it says in Luke chapter 2. Denied shelter and lodging by the humans of Bethlehem and Judea, Mary and Joseph were forced to use a manger for Jesus' birthplace. There, Jesus was born, presumably in the company of such creatures as donkeys, oxen, cows, and sheep. Jesus' appreciation for animals is demonstrated by the repeated analogies and references to animals that he used in his teachings. He referred to his followers and those who worship God as sheep, and he compared God's care for Jerusalem with a hen's concern for her brood. Often in his teachings, Jesus compared himself to such animals as the lamb and the dove, known for their innocence, meekness, and docility. He often represented animals as being under God's providence, and Jesus repeated statements to practice love, mercy, and compassion. They're consistent with and indeed fundamental to the humane and preservation ethic. My second reading is by author Fyodor Dostoevsky in The House of the Dead. Generally speaking, our prisoners were capable of loving animals, and if they had been allowed, they would have been delighted to rear large numbers of domestic animals and birds in the prison. And I wonder what other activity could have better softened and refined their harsh and brutal natures than this. But it was not allowed. Neither the regulations nor the nature of prison made it possible. French poet Anatole France said, "Until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened." Author and spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle said, "The vital function that pets fulfill in this world hasn't been fully recognized. They keep millions of people sane. They have become guardians of being." And author and veterinarian Nick Trout said, "Pets devour loneliness. They give us purpose, responsibility, a reason for getting up in the morning, a reason to look into the future. They ground us, they help us escape grief, make us laugh, and take full advantage of our weakness by exploiting our furniture, our beds, our refrigerator. We wouldn't have it any other way. Pets are our safety belts on the emotional roller coaster of life. They can be trusted, they keep us safe, and they sure do smooth out the ride." We are blessed by the animals in our lives, the beloved rabbits, rats, dogs, hamsters, gerbils, mice, fish, frogs, birds, cats, who allow us to share their homes with them, and those who live outside, the soaring hawks, the orchestral crickets and cicadas, the frogs, the horses, the dragonflies, the butterflies, the deer, the cows and bison and squirrels, the lions and tigers and bears, oh my. We are made bigger in so many ways by sharing our lives with our critter friends who sometimes seem more sensible, kind, and intuitive than some of our fellow human beings. Yes? Animals are not on this earth just to serve us, to transport us, to pull the plow or the wagon, to guide us, to entertain us, to feed us. Animals are co-inhabitants with us on this planet. They share the world with us. We do, as a species, take advantage of them, sometimes in the cruelest of ways. But then if you've ever shared a pet with your home, a dog or a cat or another critter, you know that, well, they take advantage of us too, albeit never cruelly. As author Francesco Marciano wrote, from the wolf's point of view, we were wolves once, wild and wary. Then we noticed you had sofas. I am an animal lover, you all know that. And if I could name just 3 things with which my sometimes flawed parents blessed me, they would include the love of reading, the love of laughter, and the love of animals. We always had 1 dog or 1 cat in our home when I was growing up, along with the occasional parakeet, fish, hamster, or turtle, but just 1 pet, uncontained and free to roam the house as one of the family. Since I left home, I have never been without a pet, though almost always 2 dogs, or a dog and a cat, or some other similar combination of fur babies. My pets have weathered many storms with me through the years, and also have shared countless celebrations and peak moments in my life. As some of the quotes I have used suggest, I would be less sane, less well-rounded, and far less content without them. And I know many of you feel the same about your own pets. Additionally, some of us are drawn to Unitarian Universalism, at least in part, because of its recognition and affirmation of the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part, our 7th principle. That truly sets us apart in my own mind from many traditions that proclaim that God gave man dominion over the animals. As Abraham Lincoln said, I care not for a man's religion whose dog and cat are not the better for it. Though we Unitarian Universalists may use animals in any number of ways, hopefully compassionate and humane ways, we of our faith still recognize that we humans are but a part of the wonderful interdependent web of all existence. We share the world with all of its inhabitants, and we are the better for it. Our tradition, as do a number of others, often celebrate animals by blessing them, usually on or around October 4th, for the day of the feast of St. Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of animals and the environment. We don't or haven't yet done a Sunday blessing of the pets here at Neshoba because several among us are allergic to dogs and or cats. So it seemed, since we are not able to be together in person, that this would be the perfect time to do such a service. We have asked you all to send in photos of your furred, feathered, or scaled babies, along with their names and maybe a word or 2 about them. In a moment, we will share that montage with you, but first, another very wise quote about animals, and then the words of blessing. Author Anna Quinlan wrote, occasionally someone will tell me that they won't have pets because they are messy. And I suppose there's some truth to that, between the fur and the slobber and the occasional puddle on the floor. I have to choke down the temptation to respond that life is messy, and its vagaries go down hardest with those who fool themselves into thinking they can keep it neat. We can't keep life neat. It's messy. It's simply very, very messy. And certainly animals do add to the mess, but so do children and relatives who move in with us, and occasionally neighbors and friends, and so do we ourselves. We all add to the mess, so maybe a pet wouldn't make all that much more mess after all. Now, there are other reasons people don't or can't have pets, all sorts of very real reasons. My hope is that they can enjoy animals in other ways, by hearing the bird song, by watching the squirrels play, or by enjoying the antics of the neighbor's dog's backyard carryings on. Because I truly do believe We are enlarged by the animals who share our homes, who share our planet. And so, our blessing. If you'd like to, bring your dogs into the room and lay hands on their little heads. May we see the miracles of life in all the animals who share our days in the wild or in our homes, all the animals who by their mere presence bless us. May we recognize the gift of a cold, wet nose nudging us for another cuddle, the warmth of a kitten's fur brushing against our legs, the beauty of the parakeet's song or the swallows, the amazing sight of a wild deer who has wandered close. May we bless all the animals who so enrich us, who enrich our lives, and who enrich our world. May it be so, and amen. And now we will show the montage of pet pictures, followed by a brief time of meditation and reflection.
Of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
So let's enter a time of meditation, reflection, and prayer. The doe stopped, as did I, its eyes huge as it regarded me. I was as still as I could be, loving the moment, wanting to extend it, wanting but knowing I could not get closer. In a brief second, she dashed away. I watched after her, willing her return, and then moved on, grateful to have had that moment with the wild and beautiful. Later, I watched a squirrel chase another up a tree, both having fun, it seemed. And then I paused to watch a bird high up on a wire, singing brightly, a lengthy message to its mate, or maybe to me, to the whole of the listening world. A 10-minute walk through the church grounds we share with our co-inhabitants in this world, and I was renewed, refreshed, and reassured. Reassured. Let us be silent for a moment as we consider the fullness of the wild which gifts us even sometimes in our own backyards. The wild and the beautiful, the verbal and the silent, the ever watchful with whom we share this planet. Let us be silent and let us be grateful that it is not just the human species that abides. Let us be silent and let us be grateful. Amen. And until next week, blessed, blessed be.
Hello, this is Bill Siler again with this month's video recap of the most recent meeting of the church board. The board met via Zoom on October 20. The secretary will prepare the official meeting minutes for us to review and approve at the next board meeting. But in the meantime, here's an informal recap of what happened. Before the meeting, the board got written reports from the minister, the finance committee, and the treasurer. Reverend Beth took a few minutes to elaborate on her report. In particular, she reminded us to be grateful for two things. First, there's the work that Chelsea Orland and her brand new husband Joe have been doing to put together the video components of our weekly online worship services. And secondly, there's the great work that David Cook did last week subbing for the honeymooners. Thank you, David, Chelsea, and Joe, for the work you've done and continue to do. We took up 4 items of business at this month's board meeting. Usually at the monthly board meetings, we get a summary report from the treasurer, a report that just hits the most salient points. But once a quarter, we get a fully detailed report from the treasurer, one that takes us line by line through all the budgetary items. At this meeting of the board, it was that quarterly detailed report that we reviewed. I'll only mention one happy note from that report. At the beginning of this fiscal year, Neshoba adopted a budget that forecasted a deficit of $69,000. It now appears that our budget deficit will be much smaller, about $33,000. For our second item of business, the board decided to add Christy Hogan to the short list of persons who can sign checks on the church bank account for those increasingly rare occasions when we actually write a check. The third item was our adoption of a new pandemic building use policy. Since last March, we have disallowed virtually all use of the building. But now, under the new policy, we have relaxed that restriction, albeit only slightly. We will publish the new building use policy in the upcoming newsletter. In the meantime, I noticed in my email inbox this morning that there was an email blast with that new building use policy in it that went to all members, so you may have it already. The final piece of business was an update of our somewhat related efforts to change our telephone answering service and to improve our internet Wi-Fi. Deanna Parkhurst continues to spearhead that effort. It's been a little bit of a bumpy ride as Deanna works to figure out what we've got, how it's configured, and what we might need to change. It's a work in progress, and we'll have more to say about that later. That was it for official business. We will meet again on November 17, 2 weeks after the election. You are welcome to drop in at that time and join us. Take good care.